Members of the Board of Trustees, Committee on Academic Affairs, please respond present when you hear your name. Chairperson Jill O'Donnell Tormey.
Present.
Vice Chairperson Charles Shorter. Okay. Trustee Henry Berger.
Present.
Trustee Brian Oberfeld. I saw Brian.
He's on mute. You're on
Okay.
mute, man, but you're here.
Trustee Martin Burke.
Present.
Professor Luby Alatrice.
Present.
Okay. Ali Hyder Hassan, student rep.
Present.
Ngozi Okonkwo, student rep. You have a quorum.
I have a quorum. Okay, so this public meeting of the Committee on Academic Affairs is now called to order. On March 7th, 2020, Governor Cuomo issued Executive Order 202 declaring a state of emergency in response to the COVID-19 outbreak. On March 13th, 2020, Governor Cuomo issued Executive Order 202.1, which included a suspension of law allowing the attendance of meetings telephonically or through other similar service. Article 7 of the Public Officers Law, to the extent necessary to permit any public body to meet and take such actions authorized by the law without permitting in-person access to meetings and authorizing such meetings to be held remotely by conference call or similar service, provided that the public has the ability to view or listen to such proceedings and that such meetings are recorded and later transcribed. In accordance with the executive order, the board meeting is being held via video conference with a live stream found at the CUNY Board of Trustees website. A copy of the calendar, which is the agenda, is also available online at the CUNY Board of Trustees website. Additional items may be added during the meeting. As a reminder, please mute your audio so we can ensure that everyone can hear. I would like to ask the Deputy Secretary to take a roll call attendance for members of the Chancellery and other invited guests. Anne?
Members of the Chancellery and other guests, please respond present when you hear your name. Chancellor Felix Matos Rodriguez. General Counsel and Senior Vice Chancellor for Legal Affairs, Derek Davis. Executive Vice Chancellor and University Provost, Jose Luis Cruz. I saw him.
He's present.
Present, sorry. President of City College, Vince Boudreau.
Present.
President of Queens College, Frank H. Wu. Provost and Vice President for Academic Affairs, Queens College, Betsy Hendry.
Present.
Dean, Faculty of Arts and Humanities, Queens College, Bill McClure. Dean Ayman El-Mohandes, Graduate School of Public Health and Health Policy. Bruce Lee, Professor of Health Policy and Management, Graduate School, Public Health and Health Policy.
Present.
Robin Gettner Doino, Director of Academic Affairs, Graduate School of Public Health and Public Policy. Okay,
Okay, well, thank you, Anne.
sure.
So item one on our agenda is the report from the Executive Vice Chancellor and University Provost. I now call Executive Vice Chancellor and University Provost Cruz for the report.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and good evening to everyone. The December 2020 Board of Trustees meeting, Chancellor Matos Rodriguez announced that the university would extend the spring 2020 special COVID-19 flexible grading policy to the fall 2020 term, providing colleges the opportunity to localize the policy. He noted that I would provide an implementation update to the members of CAPRA at our January meeting, and so I take this opportunity now to do so. I'll start by noting the fact that 25 colleges opted to allow the use of credit, no credit grades for fall 2020. A total of 19 colleges chose to do so with designated course exceptions. Campus liaisons indicated that course exceptions generally included important prerequisite courses for specific sequences, courses considered to be vital to future academic success, and courses related to programs that require professional licensure. 6 colleges, on the other hand, allowed the use of credit, no credit for all fall 2020 courses, as in the spring 2020 term. The School of Medicine at City College did not allow the use of credit, no credit grades in fall 2020. The credit, no credit opt-in window opened on December 24th, 2020, and will close on January 12th, 2021. Colleges with an additional fall term are working with the university registrar to ensure that the credit, no credit policy will be available for students who took courses in the later fall term. The Office of Academic Affairs has been working closely with campus liaisons regarding implementation, updating a range of communication materials, including an FAQ document, supporting the development of localized, customized communications, and creating grading dashboards that colleges can access and analyze. As a result of this, we have seen significant participation on the part of students on this policy, and look forward once the opt-in window closes to do a thorough analysis of the results of this implementation. I just wanted to take the opportunity to give you all an update on this policy. That will end my report, and I will turn it back over to Madam Chair.
You're on mute. Jill? You're on mute.
Well, thank you very much, Louise. I was saying Charlie Shorter is here. Hi, Charlie. So just make sure you get him in terms
Yep,
of.
I have him. Thank you.
So now we'll turn to the items that are requiring a vote today. Given that all board members are participating remotely, I will announce the resolutions and ask for members to respond only if you would like to abstain or oppose an item. Otherwise, your vote will be recorded as a yes vote. If you are voting no or abstaining, please state your name and vote. Additionally, if you wish to second an item or have any questions, please state your name first for the record, and let's try to avoid speaking over one another. We will take up the following items for approval. Action item 2A is the approval of the minutes of the November 23rd, 2020 meeting. I move the approval of action item 2A. Do I have a second?
Berger, second.
Any discussions? Hearing none, we will now vote. Again, remember, please only respond if you would like to abstain or oppose. Hearing no abstentions or oppositions, that item passes. Action item 2B is the policy calendar. We are now going to take up item 2B.1 for approval. Policy item 2B.1 is a resolution regarding the establishment of a program in advertising leading to the Bachelor of Science degree at Queens College. I now call Executive Vice Chancellor and University Provost Cruz to provide further background on the item. Jose Luis.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Queens College proposes to offer a Bachelor of Science degree in advertising in order to prepare students for their pursuit of careers or advanced degrees in advertising, strategic communication, or media studies within the current and developing media landscapes. Changes in how media companies generate revenue have fundamentally shifted due to digital and social media. It is no longer sufficient for students to learn only the basic tools of advertising, copywriting, which are still rooted in the print media model. This new program at Queens College will appeal to students across disciplines and will offer students courses in the practices of advertising and marketing, theory, history, and critical thinking, as well as the option to pair their work with a minor in data analytics. Students graduating with this degree will be well positioned to work in marketing, as New York City is the marketing and advertising capital of the world. The program will positively affect college-wide enrollment and will contribute to the improvement of retention and graduation rates. We are joined today by several esteemed colleagues from Queens College, including Provost Betsy Hendry. I will turn over to our colleagues as they may have more information to provide about this before we open it up for questions.
So for me, you'd like to hear from me now. We feel that this is a program that's going to be extremely popular with our students. Situating in an media studies department allows for a very critical lens, and then students are able to combine it with minors in a variety of areas, from our data analytics program to our graphic design. And so we think that this will really equip them for jobs in a variety of careers, but it also has sort of a critical studies focus and ties in very well with the liberal arts mission of college. and it's a different focus. There are other programs within CUNY, but it's a different focus as well as a different geographical market. And all indications from the students is that it's going to do very well.
Thank you. Thank you very much for that. So with that, I will move the approval of policy item 2B.1. And do I have a second?
Second, Burke.
Okay, any discussions? Any questions or discussions from?
May I inquire?
Yes, certainly.
Yes. I noticed that there was one articulation agreement that seemed to be in place. What efforts or what progress is there with articulation agreements with other of our schools?
We would look to do articulation agreements with any of the community colleges that had relevant programs at the associate's level. You know, typically for a proposal like this, you just need the one articulation agreement, and we have that. But we are actively working with our feeder community colleges, and would certainly, once this is approved, would look to do that, because this does seem like something that would be a very good pathway for students to go from the community colleges to the baccalaureate, and then perhaps, as has been suggested in some cases, on to graduate degrees or directly into jobs.
Yeah, it sounds like a wonderful program. I just encourage you to keep the work up on the articulation agreements
Absolutely.
so we can move students in and out. Thank you.
I have a question,
Yes, Charlie.
Madam Chair.
Yes.
Dr. Henley, although New York is the supposed advertising capital of the world, the last time I looked, they were minority students or minority employees at management levels within the industry are woefully low. What ties are we going to have with the industry, or what are we going to do to make certain they know about this program, which is absolutely essential?
I would say that we have good ties. It's going to have a required internship. It is situated as an honors program with a minimum GPA of 3.0. But I'd say that we also already have good ties with industry through many of our faculty, and we will seek to grow that through increasing the network of internships once the program is inaugurated, and hopefully, and I believe it will grow, and we will certainly point to the diversity of our student body. I mean, this is true for us in the arts generally, but here in advertising and in business as well, where we can help to diversify those industries.
Have you seen any progress within the industry?
I can't say that I have. I can't say that I have looked at it in detail, but I would hope that that this would be beneficial.
I have
Yes.
a question. I wanted to ask about you mentioned about the internships. What do you mean? Like, what kind of internships would be like? What the students would be required to do?
Dean McClure, the dean that oversees this program, has just joined, and I will actually ask him to speak to that.
Yeah, the director of the program is Mara Einstein, and she actually has experience in industry. So with respect to two things, one, the diversity of the industry, the industry is aware of diversity issues and is looking to diversify more. And then with respect to internships, these are a full range of internships. Media studies has already a great number of internships where it places its majors. They will think of this as an honors program, and that an internship is actually required as part of the degree program.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
I would like to add a question to that. I know from a student perspective, finding an internship, especially during this time, is not the easiest thing. So while it is great to have an internship required as part of the course, I'm just wondering what support that the department would give the students in helping them find these internships, so that it's not just a requirement and then the student is sort of left on their own, not able to find something, and then has trouble graduating or moving forward because of this requirement of having an internship. So I think internships are great. I've had an internship myself, and I feel like it does do a great job of exposing you to the workforce and to what you want to do in the future. But in an environment where it's getting increasingly difficult to do it, having it as a requirement, but then not really having the support that you need to find it might be difficult for the student. So I was just wondering what sort of things the department is going to put in place to ensure that they support the students in finding these internships that they're making a requirement.
No, it's a fine question. Media Studies takes this very seriously. The internships are listed as courses. They place 30 to 50 students in internships every year right now. And they are required, but they have a full-time faculty member whose half of his job at least is to find internships, to guide students through them, and then to talk to them at the end of it and make sure that that things are working well, and that they learned what they were supposed to learn. So this is not just a go out and find an internship requirement. The Media Studies takes this very seriously, and they put full-time faculty. It is the responsibility of certain members of the full-time faculty to make sure internships exist and that they are successful. And they're already laying the groundwork now for expanding these specifically into advertising firms, advertising experiences, those kinds of things. So they're actually a very conscientious department when it comes to this.
That's great. Great to hear. That will make it a success for sure. Any other questions? If not, we will now vote. Please again, only respond if you would like to abstain or oppose. Hearing none, that item passes. We are now going to take up item 2B-2 for approval. Policy item 2B-.2 is a resolution regarding the establishment of a new interdisciplinary center for advanced technology and communication in health called CATCH at the Graduate School of Public Health and Health Policy. I now call on Executive Vice Chancellor and University Provost Cruz to provide further background.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The Graduate School of Public Health and Health Policy proposes the establishment of the Center for Advanced Technology and Communication in Health, CATCH. The center's mission is to develop and implement new technologies and approaches to inform decision-making in the health and public health arena, connecting a variety of disciplines and leaders who have not traditionally worked in health with researchers who bring decades of health-related experience. CATCH will aim to be a hub at the leading edge of researching, developing, and implementing technologies that will help better understand, address, and communicate the complexities of health and public health systems. CATCH will apply systems approaches to an array of health and public health issues that the School of Public Health team of interdisciplinary experts will work to address. CATCH will adhere to the recently amended Board of Trustees Policy 1.09, Guidelines for Centers, Institutes, Consortia, and Special Programs. Please note that I will come back to CAPRA before the end of the academic year with more information about the recertification process that we will undertake for existing centers and institutes throughout the university. I am pleased that this is the first center that we bring to this committee pursuant to the recently amended guidelines and policies of the Board of Trustees. We are joined today by several esteemed colleagues from the Graduate School of Health and Health Policy, including Dean Ayman Mohandes and Director of Academic Affairs, Robin Gertner-Doino, and Professor Bruce Lee, who can answer any questions that you may have about the CATCH proposal. And now I'll turn it over back to our chair.
Well, would anyone from the School of Public Health like to say anything more about the program before we open it up for questions?
Madam Chair, I would invite Professor Bruce Wiley to give very brief comments on the importance of this endeavor and how it brings the university to the forefront of communications technology, if you would allow.
Sure, certainly.
For the opportunity to have this proposal be presented. We feel that we're at an inflection point with the advance of technology, computational power, AI, machine learning, a lot of these data science, a lot of these buzzwords that you hear that are really advancing society. And this is a real opportunity to tilt these advancements in the right direction in terms of having them help with health and healthcare decision making rather than the reverse. So we feel that this is a great time for CUNY to become a leader in this area, because there's a dearth of such centers across the country or across the world, and to use this to help with decision making as well as the communication of health related matters. We've seen in 2020 where there's a great need for better communication across all levels, including the general public, of health and health related matters. So we feel that this center is very timely and very sustainable, because all of this technology will only grow and grow in the future.
Thank you very much. So I will now move the approval of policy item 2B.2. Do I have a second? Charlie?
Second.
Okay, second. Do we have any questions or discussions before we put it to a vote?
Burke, question for both Professor
Yes.
Lee and for the Dean.
Yes, please.
Yes, sir.
This is a welcome innovation. As EVC Cruz pointed out, having it done under policy 1.09 is welcome as well. But later today, the Committee on Fiscal Affairs will be meeting to discuss perhaps the ongoing budget problems at CUNY. And while there is budgetary information in the proposal, I would like to ask Professor Lee and the Dean if they could expand a little more on meeting the costs, the anticipated costs for the technological innovations that the center will both be investing in and then sharing within the university nationally and internationally.
Thank you. I will begin, since there may be a conflict in the case of Bruce himself, but I can explain that most of the funding that is described in year one is funding through mainly federal funding through the NIH, but other agencies as well. And many of these projects are funded for multi-year. We anticipate that the costs as described in the proposal will be fully funded by external sources. The School of Public Health, Graduate School of Public Health and Health Policy does reimburse centers and principal investigators a component of the indirect cost that is collected by the school, currently at 60% of salaries. And this will also allow the center to support its infrastructural needs.
Thank you.
You're welcome, sir.
Henry, you had a question?
Martin asked it very nice, much more articulately than I could have.
And Dean, do you expect to have philanthropic dollars used to this, or is it only going to be really federal funding?
These are, in principle, research institutes and centers, but we do seek philanthropic funding, and we have several projects currently in this current fiscal year, about $500,000 of philanthropic contributions towards these centers and institutes, and we do seek the right donors who are interested in the topical area. We will, of course, once Bruce has tremendous visibility in the health community. He has a blog on Forbes, which is very highly sought, and that in itself gives his new center a tremendous audience and visibility.
Well, I know that you've been waiting to have this center come through this committee until we were able to change the guidelines. And I'm very pleased that we're finally here. This is a topic near and dear to my heart. I struggle all the time in terms of translating science to the general public and making it understandable and impactful. So I know that there's a great need for this, and we need to increase our scientific understanding across the populations of the United States and the world. So I think this is a great bar for that. So I'm fully aboard and happy about this. Is there any other questions? Okay, if not, we will now vote. Again, as a reminder, please only respond if you'd like to abstain or oppose. Hearing none, that item is now approved. We're now going to take up item 2B.3 for approval. Policy item 2B.3 is a resolution regarding the approval of the actions in the CAPRA dashboard. I now call Executive Vice Chancellor and University Provost Cruz to provide further background on this item.
Thank you, Madam Chair. As everyone on this committee knows, routine academic matters, local academic policies, and course inclusions in the university's general education program are presented to the Committee on Academic Policy Programs and Research in summary form. Introduced in October in 2019, the CAPRA dashboard makes it possible for trustees to interact with this summary data. A few highlights from this month's dashboard, which we hope the board committee approves or recommends for full board approval at a subsequent meeting, include 3 new or revised undergraduate policies, including a revision of Hunter College's credit no credit policy, the classification of 4 new general education courses among colleges, giving students more options to study the physical sciences, mathematics, and the humanities. And finally, 23 program actions, including 10 changes or additions to delivery mode for programs at Bronx Community College, Lehman College, New York City College of Technology, and the School of Professional Studies. I turn it back over to Madam Chair.
Thank you. So I will move the approval of policy item 2B-.3. Do I have a second?
Berger, second.
Any discussion on those items? Hearing none, we will now vote. Please again, only respond if you'd like to abstain or oppose. Hearing none, that item passes. So now I think I have to have a motion to adjourn the meeting. I will move it. Do I have a second? Second?
Burke, second.
Okay, thanks. Okay, again, I think we're all okay. I think we're all happy to have the meeting over. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
See you all
Have
soon.
a great night.
Bye-bye.
Bye now.
Good night. Bye.